Hi, Karmit. Good to see you again. Thanks for taking the time to do this second interview. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for inviting me again.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, just as a reminder to our viewers, if they didn't see our first video, I met you by attending a virtual tour that a friend of mine invited me on through the Jewish National Fund, JNF. I had never heard of a virtual tour. I had never experienced it before, but I was intrigued with the idea. And I was so intrigued, I invited my mother and she said yes. And she came on the tour as well and had a fantastic time like I did. So since then, honestly, I have been totally intrigued with this whole virtual tour idea. I've spoken to many other people about it. And I want to ask you, how did you get into the virtual tour space and how did you create the virtual tour space that you offer?
So first of all, I must say I was lucky enough twice. First time, when we started the whole pandemic, and there are no tourists. You realize that your career is completely over for endless time. You have no idea what's going to happen now. It's obvious that it's life changing. And I started, listening to all kinds of lectures that people gave from the tourism, all kinds. And they said something about that we should start thinking about virtual tours. And I felt like, oh, sitting in front of the computer, it's just not the same. It can't be the same. I was really not really finding it interesting. But I realized, okay, I need to adopt. I need to open my mind. I need to think about it. What is interesting, what not. For example, but in the beginning, I thought it would be really cool to do Google Earth and things like that. But then I realized Zoom is not that strong. Everything is like shaky and you don't need to, it's annoying in the eyes. You need to tell good stories. And then all of a sudden I got an offer from JNF to guide their virtual missions. They realized that they want to keep in touch with their donors, with the people that they're working with and used to come to Israel very often. And all of a sudden it's all gone. And they came up with the idea of virtual missions that they do 5 days a week. Every day we do 1 hour that is parallel to a whole day. And I build the tours geographically. I don't jump one, 20 different sites on one day. That is not possible to do it on. I try to imagine like how I jump the traffic. I enjoy the fact that there is no pee stop on the way and everybody are like moving fast and I can do everything in time. But the idea is to make it as a real experience that you're going through in reality. And I even start adding, okay, we have now lunch, and I take them to a place that is really interesting lunch. For example, some interesting women that are hosting their houses. I chose to end every day in a really cool hotel because it keeps you feeling the experience. And I also share with you, for example, I usually sorry.
That's okay.
I do my virtual backgrounds funny in order to people to really feel that they're part of the tour. So now, for example, this is the first time that I'm on Zoom, and I don't know, I did already more than 65 hours of guides, virtual guides. This is the first time that people see where I live. They usually don't see that because when they arrive, I start with standing in the airport and waiting for them and putting some music, and then I hop on the bus and I start guiding while I have a whole bus behind me, and it kind of puts people in the feeling. And then I can also take them to all kinds of caves and start explaining and stand up and point out to things. And I did even, for example, kayak tour in the Dead Sea, or a jeep tour in the desert. Or for example, you can see here behind me, there's our archaeological site. So I dress up as an old man, or I do all kinds of costumes and make it fun. And the idea is really to tell people stories in a fun way, but it will be significant. It won't be just, okay, let's have another hour. It will be something that they never heard of. It's the most fun, by the way, to guide people that or never been in Israel their life, and they realize that this experience is even good enough. And people that have been 40, 50 times, and you like, oh wow, we didn't know about this place, we didn't know that, because I don't have any budget limit. I can put you in any hotel that I would like. I can do whatever I want. And there was actually even fun one time that I took people to space because I said, you know what, I can do whatever I want. So let's go and see where the Israeli Bereshit spaceship landed. And I started doing, showing pictures, and it was funny because people really enjoy the absolutely freedom that we have to go and see interesting places. So
I mean, I have to interrupt you here because I just have to say that it really is it was such a fantastic experience. The way you did lay it out, meeting in the airport and getting on the bus and then going to these different places. And, I love when you said there's no budget. I knew that because I was so intrigued with this experience that as a business person, I was observing it. I was observing the business model of what I was experiencing. So first, let me say JNF was lucky to get you. I just want to say they were lucky to get you. But secondly, what you created was because the restaurant you took us to, the hotels, I was thinking, even then I was thinking to myself, gee, would I be able to afford to go to that hotel? Right. And the freedom that you have and flexibility that it offers for you to give this experience is just extraordinary. I cannot say enough how extraordinary it is. Now, I'm a confidence coach for women, especially women in the second half of life, and especially for women in business. I don't consider myself a business coach, although I do help women grow businesses, but the confidence aspect in business, especially for women in business for themselves or getting into business, starting in business, is often lacking. And so that's another thing. I'm so happy to verify and validate and affirm for you how much you stuck this landing. It really is a great experience. So just tell us, how do we find you? If we did want to hire you for like the family reunion, a family Zoom call virtual experience, or if my organization wanted you to do something.
So I'm on Google. You can write Karmit Arbel Rumbak, Karmit with a K, and I'm on Google. You can find me, or on TripAdvisor, Karmit Arbel Rumbak, Off Beating Track Tours, and I'm here. And actually, I did it was really funny. There were several synagogues that realized that it's amazing way to gather everybody around. So I did their private missions. I did a family reunion that decided, oh, let's go to Israel. And then it was like really building a real tour. I was asking them questions, and they told me about grandma that visit this, and they were talking. And I actually took them to places that were related to their family history, and it was much more fun. Just okay, I have an itinerary, and each group I worked in advance with the leaders and build up. Like, for example, the tour that you've been on was a feminine tour, and it was oriented to touch the inspiration from women. And I had food tech and agro-tech and all kinds of, different subjects that different groups were interested in. It was really, really fun.
That is so great. So let me say that you had mentioned to me that where you are outside, the sun is setting. So it just went
all the
down.
birds are starting making noise.
I know, as you were talking, I could hear the birds. It just got a little darker. So I know the sun went down on the other side of the mountain. So that forces me to end, but I just want to say thank you so much. I will be writing how to contact you in the video description. And I really just want to wish you the very, very best. And I am on call for you. If I can help you or support you in any way, I really, truly mean that. So thank you. And I will look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you. And I hope to see you in Israel.
Me too. All right. Take good care.